What is going on, gamers? Welcome to your weekly dose of controlled chaos. It's Crub. My name is Nicco, aka All Hail Buckets. I am here today with two crazy guys. We got Moriarty. Moriarty, say hi.
Hi.
And Trav, say hi.
Hello.
Let's go, gamers. So today, I want to talk about practice. Allen Iverson said it, and I'm here to say it again, except perhaps from the other side of the fence. I do want to talk about practice. Fellas, you know, you guys are two of the most decorated and expert gamers that I know. And at sort of a higher level than I think a lot of us. And I have some questions for you because, you know, I'm not that good at video games. And I'm just curious as to, like, sort of what you can do to get there. I don't know. You know, is it... So I guess let's start there. Do you guys practice at all? Or are you just like, you play a game, you're in it, and... You're just like, oh, I should do this, like, I should do that.
Absolutely, at a technical level. Yeah, of course, we practice. But it's also like, I'm not going into, I don't know, Quake 1 with the idea that I will get better at this game. It just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be an interesting conversation as we get deeper into it, because like right now it's like I feel like we need to establish boundaries. Not boundaries. Boundaries makes it sound harsh. I feel like we need to establish what the hell we're talking about.
Certainly. You know, I see, like, I've seen you play Doom, Trav, like, for example.
That's crazy.
And you just move so quickly and you're so precise. And I'm just like, man, like, so when you open up let's start here. When you guys open up a game and you're like playing relatively like competitively, or even if you're just competitive against the computer or yourself, what are you thinking? Like, what's going through your head when you're like beginning a level per se, or beginning some kind of a run of some sort?
Oh boy. So I guess, like, to keep with the Doom example, I guess it is a case of like, it's oh, this is going to be a very interesting conversation, because like so much of what I'm thinking of is all like subconscious. Like, I don't really think about it.
And that's sort of why I wanted to have this discussion. I want to bring it to the surface.
Right. I guess, like, say I'm loading into a new Doom map. I'm playing Sigil 2 for the first time. Excuse me. Chris, edit that out. I'll be, I don't know. It's just, like, analyzing level geometry, spotting enemies, spotting resources, anything like that that can... Well, like, with Doom, it's pretty linear. Like, you know, you're not going to be thinking about it the same way you do, like, a Fortnite or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, like... I guess in my case, they're not exactly conscious decisions, and over time, it became something of just, like... I mean, I hate to say second nature, because that feels like a cop-out. But, see, I love playing games on harder difficulties. I think it was around 2020, I just decided, like, screw it. I'm just going to start a game at the hardest difficulty, and if I have a hard time with it, like, if I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing and I don't know how to get better, I'll turn the difficulty down. And I feel like the way that I get better at games, like, I guess I lied. I do actively strive to practice some of these games by just, like, going in nuts to butts, balls to the wall. Difficulty just destroying me. Right. And in that case, it is often like I'm playing the game to get beaten into shape, of like trying to learn this challenge that the game developers have given me.
Right.
And it is a case of like, oh, I load in and I immediately get shot. Where am I getting shot from? Where's cover? Where are resources? Do I have enough ammo to even worry about this character?
Yeah.
I'm really scraping at my brain right now.
Well, while you're scraping the fond off, when you open up a game, like what's going through your head? Like if you're, we've played Marvel Rivals together. I don't know if you have a better example for yourself that you perhaps know more about, but like, you were telling me a little bit about like positioning, for example, right? Like how do you think about that type of thing?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the type of game that I'm playing, right? If I'm playing an online competitive game, then I am much more competitive and I'm going to care about that kind of stuff. And unlike Trev, I have practiced before because I used to play CS a lot. And I've absolutely, loaded up an aim map to learn how to control sprays and things like that. Or in order to, practice reaction times and being faster at clicking heads. And, for me in that situation, yeah, I'm practicing and it's not fun, right? This isn't fun. I'm not practicing because I really enjoy clicking for an hour over and over and over again, killing bots walking left to right? Like, that's not fun.
Right.
But what is fun is when you go into a competitive game, the next day or a few hours later, and you completely decimate your enemies, right? Just completely stepping on them nonstop as they scream and cry. That's great. That's so much fun, Like, there's nothing better than just knowing that you've ruined somebody's day in CS, right? Like, that is what I want. I want for them to log off in a rage. I want them to quit 6 rounds in and just take a 30-minute penalty because I'm not coming back today. I'm done for the day. This is it. I'm done with CS. I'm going to go eat something. Right? Like,
oh my God.
I'm very happy when I caused that to happen.
That's awesome.
So I have practice.
You got it. Well, and that's sort of my thing too. I've been thinking so much. I mean, I've been playing the drums so much, right? And I've noticed how, like, not only am I back in what I would consider to be ring shape, I am better than I've ever been because I've been practicing every single day. And I've been sitting there with my metronome going, right? I've been sitting there and I've been doing it and I've been getting better, and I have not been able to find that type of success in gaming. So and when you were practicing, how would you do that? Is it organized against is it like a scrimmage style practice? Are there bots you can program, record a movement and then shoot, or what's going on there?
That is okay. Sorry, the way that you phrase it just opened something up, but I will wait for it to be my turn to talk.
It definitely depends on the game, right? Like, certain games, you can load up a custom map. Mm-hmm. You can load up a custom map on Fortnite. You can load up a custom map on Overwatch. You can load up a custom map on CS. You can load up a custom map on Team Fortress. And you can go in there and you can kind of learn things. And additionally, a lot of the nice thing about video games is that you can practice them by just playing them, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how we decide that we're going to be good. Trav isn't good at Doom or Ultra Kill or any of these games that he's become very good at just because. It's not just, oh yeah, I've got great reaction speed, though that may be helpful. That's not the thing that makes you good at the game. It's just time in it, is playing it and learning it and getting the muscle memory. Trav said it's innate or I forget exactly what you said actually, but
he said
I think it was
instincts.
instincts, right? Like it is, though. It's muscle memory. It's learning that thing and playing it and going, oh, I know what to do in this situation and I know what this means. I've learned the language. And that's really the thing, right? You learn the language of that game. You learn how to move. You learn how to do a rocket jump. That's not something everybody inherently understands. When you go into a game and you know how to rocket jump, that's because you've learned that over a long period of time, exactly how to do it, exactly, how that mechanic works. And now you understand the language of it. And so other games come along, right? Other games come along and they have that rocket and you go, oh, well, maybe I can rocket jump with it. And maybe you gib yourself all over, but maybe you rocket jump. And that is understanding that language.
Yeah. Trav, you said you had something to say?
Yeah, so my brain went to something that I haven't thought about in a minute because my fight stick broke, but I thought about fighting games. Because fighting games is probably actually like the one genre that for a while I would actively practice to get better and miraculously completely forgot about in the process of recording this podcast. So like, it's hard to describe exactly what's going through my brain with a fighting game without like having something else to compare it to, when a fighting game is usually what I compare other games to. So like when I've described like Ultra Kill to people and how I've gotten good at it, it is very similar to like labbing in a fighting game. Like just going into the practice map, seeing what moves connect with others through like proper cancels. I'm using Street Fighter as an example, where it's like some moves like light kick for this character will always cancel into medium kick, but for other characters, some of them, they don't.
Light punch, heavy punch,
light punch, heavy punch,
light kick, heavy punch.
But no, with fighting games, when I got into like Street Fighter 6, I would spend hours just sitting in the training room and trying to figure out like a single character, just having fun. And well, like I guess maybe it's not fun, but for me it's fun. Just being in a room and being like, all right, if I do this combo, like 1, 2, 3, uppercut, whatever, just see what happens, see if I could chain it into a EX combo,
right?
And stuff like that. I think that is like of course I've practiced Ultra Kill, stuff like that, because like there's actual like practice rooms in it. But I guess when it comes to like not fighting games or any other FPS, because Ultra Kill is weird like that. Like for the most part, like practicing in a game, at least with the games that I play, like you're kind of just playing the game. Like you're not going into a dedicated practice session. So it really is just throwing yourself at a wall and seeing how much you stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But so then I guess the question is, right? Like, do you let's take PvEs, like, for example, right?
Okay.
Like, do you think about what the enemies are going to do at all? And if so,
oh, absolutely.
What are those thoughts?
Well, right. So you've learned silhouette, for example, is really important. And this is one of the things that translates from both a multiplayer competitive shooter to a, top-down single-player experience, is learning silhouette, learning what those enemies do. You're not getting like, I know that Doom came with a manual that described every, monster that was in the game and how they worked and stuff. That doesn't really happen anymore. So it's more, it's kind of becoming, I feel like there's a word here that's really valuable where you are experiencing something. It's like surfaced to you. You get exposed. Exposure. That's the word. Okay. Exposure is what does it. Exposure to these things and learning, a silhouette and learning what that thing is and recognizing, oh, red pointy thing, bad. Gotta kill a red pointy thing right away, or red pointy thing does thing. I don't like when thing happens, so red pointy thing must die, right? Like learning that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That is incredibly interesting, breaking it down to that type of a level, because I feel like I've not thought about it like in the silhouette type of way. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you have. When you are in when you're in Dark Souls, because I know that you're a big Souls, Ring fan, right?
You're a big Soulsy.
You're a big Soulsy. There is enemies that you learn. Maybe there's a dog.
Okay, wait, but those games are like a way easier, I think, to practice because it's the same thing every time.
So are most games.
Not really.
Actually.
I played Doom Eternal and I got like different enemies all the time, and it was like, I know. And I've been playing Prey recently. I'm soft locked in Prey. I'm soft locked in Prey because like I don't know how to avoid attacks, right? Like the Phantom will beam at me. And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm taking this. There's no dodge button, so like I don't know what to do about it. And like that's sort of the thing. How would you guys solve a problem like that? There's no dodge button. You're about to get hit with a projectile from an enemy.
Well, so Prey's actually a pretty good example, because I tell you what the answer is there for you right now.
If you guys couldn't tell, this was just I have problems with games and I needed to ask my expert friends about it. If the audience wasn't clear on that already, sorry.
I think this one is maybe going to blow your mind with Prey. You don't have to fight that enemy. You just don't have to fight that enemy. That's a big part of Prey.
Right.
The answer is you don't yet.
No, this
is advanced knowledge. I don't know if he's ready for this.
Yeah, I'm talking about a Phantom, like a basic ass Phantom.
It's like that's not
any enemy
in that game. They're
I
actually
think I
pretty
need to
hard.
look at the part you're in to give you a better answer.
They're the humanoid things that like shoot ranged weapons at you. You don't have to fight.
Yeah, it's like one up from a mimic.
You have a glue gun, don't you?
I am out of ammo on my glue gun. Yeah, I'm soft locked where I am because I'm out of ammo on everything.
But you don't have to fight them. You can just,
Don't you have a wrench?
I do have a wrench, yeah.
Like you could just get away. There's very few occasions.
This is just turning to us just yelling at Nicco.
I get that, but there's very few occasions in Prey where you're actually locked into a specific
I think that in this case, it's a case of like Nicco still understanding or needing to understand like some of the more nuanced mechanics.
Yeah, my build is like around gun. My build has gun, and I'm out of gun, so I'm soft.
Just crouch and hide behind something and walk around it. That generally works in Prey.
Right. Yeah. Perhaps
I think that's part of it, right? Like that's learning the language, like I was saying.
If you ever have interest in getting back into Prey, I'd love to watch and like help you get through this.
I would like to do that. That would be very helpful. Because look, this is the type of shit, right? That it's like, is that a swear jar?
No, we can use
we can say that one,
guys.
Okay.
We could say shit here, right? Tell me, we're the one.
Yeah, no, it's the type of thing where it is a
bazinga. Sorry.
Like, well, here's sort of what I'm saying is like, how do I avoid the skill issue criticism? How does one avoid the skill issue criticism?
Dark Souls actually did answer this, and you're not going to like this one. You'd get good. And
well, but that's what I'm saying. But Dark Souls, you can practice. Dark Souls, you can just like, you go into the boss, you do the same thing every single time, and it's the same thing every time, and it's always the same every time. And it's always 1, 2, 3, dodge. 1, 2, 3, dodge. R1, R1. And that's the cadence. That'll get you through 70% of Dark Souls 3,
70% of most games.
Like,
most games are like that, honestly. Most games are truly like that. You just haven't like figured it out in your head, I guess, that's true. Most games, if like when you're asking me, do I break down an enemy? Yeah, exactly like you just did, right? That enemy is dodge, R1, R1, and you learn that.
But how do you do it in a game with no dodges, dude?
Well, dodge is just, an iframe, essentially, right? Like, dodge is just invulnerable for 3 seconds. So really what you want is the ability to slow down combat, right? You want the ability to learn to acquire the target, recognize the target, and then eliminate the target. And you're saying that you're having a harder time going through those steps, right? You're having a harder time realizing that is an enemy there, pointing your gun at it, and then shooting before it shoots you. And so you need iframes. And that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what the dodge does in those cases, but it's not the dodge that you're actually looking for. You're looking for an easier way to quickly acquire and recognize targets and determine what you're going to do with them. And that's a different skill set, right?
Yeah, right. And it's like, and the question becomes, what kind of a drill can you do to practice something like that? You know, like
sometimes
I would like
just
to.
beat your head
My
against the
answer
wall.
is literally like, it's not so much you need a drill; it's just keep trying, and then
you're just beating your head
If
against the wall.
something's not working, try new things.
Yeah. No, it's fair, man. I'm so specific. I want to practice video games like they're an instrument, and I know they're not.
Well, I think
that's
they can
not the
be.
worst analogy.
Well, because I'm just like, okay, like if I need to like practice, okay, an enemy's coming around a corner, let me turn and click the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can sit there and do that for hours and hours and hours, and I'll be a better gamer for it. And that's the type of thing I'm looking to do.
Well, yeah. So I'll give you an analogy that maybe is a little helpful for you. You are you have your drums, right?
Yeah.
And what we're saying is that there are bongos out there, that there are trash cans out there, that there are, steel pans out there, and you're looking at them going, well, those aren't drums. I know this. Drum is, this thing of leather stretched around that's drum. And we're saying, yeah, but the skills you've learned in order to be able to play those drums are actually transferable across lots of things, even up to and including something that's unfamiliar, like a turned over bucket, right? That upside down bucket is a drum if you just play it like one.
Yeah, you've not listed a single thing that is not a drum.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
like,
a great point. Like I like this. I like this.
You learn that they are drums, right? Like I know, because I play lots of shooters, that if I aim cursor at head and click, head go kablooey, right? That's part of the mechanics that I've learned of that game. And so you have, over time, you kind of learn the muscle memory of moving your cursor towards heads, quickly tracking them as they move left and right, and up and down, which is far harder, by the way.
Yeah, well, and I suppose that's what I'm saying. I need to load up. Maybe perhaps for people who are looking to do drills out there like I am, perhaps I just load up in Fortnite and record a character going like left and right and then jumping, and then I go left and right and jump and just try and keep my cursor on the head.
It's not a bad place to start.
Like that's all I need. Like that's something I need. And it's not I think it's not offered in enough games. Like that ability to just do that, what I just said.
I kind of agree. So there are maybe like 3 or 4 key things that you learn in shooters that you can kind of break down to like, these are the things you're doing. One of them is definitely tracking, right? Tracking is such an important part of being in a shooter experience. And in fact, in a lot of gaming experiences, and consoles, for example, have auto aim and they kind of help you track. And if you just kind of are generally near the enemy, then the cursor will continue to follow them. With a PC, if you've got a mouse, it's a little bit more, difficult because you have to actually move that. And I know that we're talking to you specifically, Nicco, because you have recently bought a computer, so you're using a mouse. And so for the listeners out there, this may not be 100% one-to-one to your situation, but tracking, really, really valuable. Any shooter in the world, tracking is going to be valuable because you need to be able to get your mouse, cursor onto the enemy and then keep it on the enemy until they're dead, right? So tracking is really, really valuable. There's the flick abilities, which is the ability to move your cursor to a specific place like accurately, or I suppose the word is precisely, right? Because precision versus accuracy.
Precision versus like where you intend it to go, not the correct place for it to be.
Right. So learning precision and learning, how to flick, learning how to move your mouse. So if I am currently on Trav, right, with my mouse, and I want to move it onto Nicco with my mouse, and I want to be able to go from eye to eye, right? Like, I need to be able to track as Trav is moving, and then when I flick, I need to be able to get it pretty close to Nicco's eye if I'm moving that mouse cursor across the screen watching this live on Twitch, right? Like, I need to be able to do that, and that's a really basic exercise that is, two different things that are valuable: being able to follow and track, and then to be able to flick. And then it's more reaction speed type stuff. So, target acquisition, recognizing green versus red, right?
Yeah,
like that
right.
kind of stuff.
I'm playing against computers here, so I want to start there.
Hey, Nicco?
I don't know that. Yeah,
Nicco, real quick. I think you minimized Discord.
Oh no, I did minimize Discord. I was opening up that's on me. That's my bad. Is what it is. We're back.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I see that we have a comment.
If you're wondering why we were in the darkness for a second, it's because all three of our powers went out, but luckily we were still able to record the podcast. Thank you, Jesus, for granting us mercy. We are back, though, with our special guest of the day, Timothy Chalamet.
We're back with our special guest, Timothy Chalamet. Timmy, how you doing? Good. Yeah. Thanks, man. All right, see you later.
I love murder.
So I do see a comment from the Golden Bolt, who I believe is well known from that Crub podcast. And he says, can you define soft lock, since it's being said a lot, versus being skill gated? And I think that's actually a pretty good, for those who aren't kind of aware, there is a difference between, soft lock, hard locks, and skill gates.
I was not aware of this. I was not aware of that. I'm skill gated.
Yeah. So a soft lock is where the game is probably locked, right? Like, you have locked it in some way that you can fix it, but not the way that you want to. You might have to reload,
Yeah, like an old save.
You're trapped. What was that game, Skyrim, or maybe it was Oblivion, or maybe it was Morrowind, where you could kill a main character who was like important to the plot, right?
Lots,
and it would say
lots of them.
Well, so it would say to you,
well, but it's like
this world is doomed now, so you can continue to play, but the world is doomed, right? So you are, you've done something, you've missed an item, you've done a thing, right? Where you can continue to play, the game is currently working, right? But you cannot progress any further. So maybe there's a bug, maybe you're locked in a room, right? And you can't get out of the room isn't opening. The door is supposed to open, but it just isn't gonna open. Things like that. That's a soft lock. Hard locks are when the game is unplayable, right? Like, you can no longer progress because the game isn't working. It has blue screened on you. It stopped work. It crashed, right? That's a hard lock. And if you are hard locked in general, people are going to mean that they are the save is bugged out in some way. They can't continue. You literally cannot progress it further. And then skill gated is when you yourself are unable to get further. And this is more of a, since Souls, really, because like Souls is what reinvigorated the idea of a hard video game. Souls games are,
though. They're like,
but you do have to learn.
They're very hard, Nicco.
Yeah, I was socialized on Souls games, so they're for me. I have a different perception.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying. Like,
most.
you have that high tolerance for soup and salad. Like,
soup and salad, unlimited.
Yeah. So, like, skill gating, you've actually been, there are people, so Armored Core, you played the new Armored Core,
yes.
Fires of Rubicon.
Thrice.
You completed it. You beat every boss.
3 times.
There is a significant amount of people who have not gotten past that first major gunship. And I don't remember his name, but I can picture him with all the rockets that shoot at you.
Either Attack Helicopter or Balteus.
Balteus. There is a significant, and I'm talking like probably close to a majority, if not a plurality, right? Like, a significant number of people have never completed that boss because they are skill gated by him.
That's fair. And that's what I'm trying to develop some techniques to avoid.
Well, it sounds like you do have them. You just haven't learned that everything's a drum yet.
Correct. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
No,
that.
it sincerely, you said it. And I'm like, there are some lines that I have to perhaps talk to you offline about and draw them myself. But I'm hoping our listeners.
They're too spicy for the live chat.
Well, just too specific. I'm hoping our listeners at least are getting something out of this, like perhaps a different perspective on the games that they play day to day, you know. But
I wanted to check for you because I was curious. 46% of players never beat Balteus. So flip a coin, right? Half of people will not. They will be filtered out by that. They will never make it past that point.
All right, but like exclude children, exclude people with children. I'm kidding. I don't want to go into this. It's a bad bit. It was a bad bit. They can't all be winners. No, yeah, it is what it is.
We hate children here on Crubcast.
Hate children. No, I'm just saying that if I played a game like that as a kid, I know that I wouldn't have gotten past like attack helicopter. You know, but playing it as an adult, I'm I'm fine to get by it, right? To M's point.
I think, so there's this concept called the 80-20 approach, right? And it's pretty valuable in just kind of life in general, but it's especially valuable when you're trying to get better at a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea is that 20% of the things that you do, 20% of activities will give you 80% of results. And it's also been translated into things like 20% of your employees do 80% of the work. 20% of things do 80% of things, just generally speaking. You can, even wrap it up into like money for most things, right? 20% of people will hold 80% of the wealth. It's pretty translatable across things, right?
Very Fibonacci-esque.
Right. It's not a truism in that, like, it's absolute, right? Yeah. But it is absolutely a truism.
Yeah.
The concept is that, right? And there are a lot of things that you can do where if you were to break down, the average thing that you do for a job, right? Or that you do for your fun or whatever, and you write out every single thing that you do, only about 20% of it actually creates significant amounts of value. Right. And I use value super loosely here because, like, if you're painting, right, what is the value? Well, the value is what you create. But about 20% of the activities that you do when you go and you paint something is actually creating a valuable painting. Right. Yeah. And so you have to just learn what those 20% of things are. You just have to learn whatever it is. And for me, if it's a shooter, it's like tracking and flicking and target acquisition, and that's 20%, but it gives you 80%. You could do just map knowledge, right? If you're going to play a game like a Marvel Rivals or like a CS or any of these sort of like competitive games, if you know the map really, really well, like every hiding, where you can stand, where you can do stuff, then, I know that I can get Loki onto that position right there, and he can't be seen from this position, and he can kill this person. I can put a sniper there. I can do these things. You learn that stuff. Well, there you go. That's your 20% that most people don't learn, and it gives you 80% of your win.
That's awesome. This is the type of like scratch beneath the surface knowledge that I'm looking for. This is the type of gaming wisdom that I think our Crubscribers will benefit from hearing.
Shout out to gaming.
Shout out to gaming, dude. Shout out to gaming. And shout out to the Crubcast. Follow us. Find us. You can find us on Patreon, of course. At this is the plug, by the way. We're not ending the podcast. That's the plug. Find us, patreon.com/crub, crub.org/join for our free Discord, crub.org for everything audio, and find us at Crub Official on all social media platforms and at Crub_official on Twitch, where we stream live every Tuesday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And we do an exclusive pre and post show, as well as some goofing around. You get some peeks behind the scenes. Come join us.
She pre on my post show.
She pre on my post till I show. Join our Discord, like I said earlier, and back to the stuff.
So I think if you let's say that you're a big fan of MOBAs, right? You're a big fan of Dota,
okay.
or maybe you're a big fan of League. It doesn't really matter because it's the same game, but you're a big fan of them, right? And you really, really enjoy them. And suddenly the International comes along or Worlds comes along, and you decide to watch that. And while you're watching that, you see a pro player do something cool. You see them do something cool where you're like, oh, that's neat. I didn't know you could do that, right? You see them in Dota, they build a character in a specific way, and you're like, wow, I've never thought about buying that, that thing. Oh, and cool, look how they used it. And then you go into that game and you buy those things and you go, wow, this is really effective. That's super neat. I feel cool. I would argue that's still practice, right? You have practiced that.
Yeah.
You watched somebody else. You did opposition research. You watched this thing and you came away and now you are better at this game because of that. Or let's say that and I just keep going back to CS because I just have a lot of experience with it. I've got like 9,000 hours in CS. Let's say that you're watching that and you see Simple throw an op over window into Dust 2, right? You see that and it works. And because of that, he is able to get in there and get a clutch win and a defuse. And you go, whoa, that was cool. That was really neat. I've never thought that you could do that. And then you go into your game, you load up that map, and you go into Dust 2, and you're playing, and the other people, they haven't seen a Simple's op throw, right? They don't know what that thing is. So you go and you throw an op over, and you get that same moment. And even though you didn't come up with it, it's not your original thing, you got that moment, that's cool, and that's practice, and you feel good, and you feel better, and you are now a better player for that.
And that's drumming, dude. And that's drumming to a T, dude. Everything's drums. Everything's drums. I don't know I know you realized it before I did, but everything's drums.
Everything's drums. Your table is drums. And if you're able to put together a beat here, then you can put together a beat there. You just got to learn, right? Like the resonance on my desk isn't going to sound the same as your timpani, right? Like it's not going to be the same. But if you want them to sound the same, you can probably get pretty close if you just learn the intricacies of both instruments really well.
Yeah. And you can also, oh my God, you just described a concept. And you can also steal things. Right. You can also steal things creatively. Steal creative ideas.
Right. So you can just steal stuff from CVS or from Rite Aid or even from Walmart.
Not physical objects. I'm talking about. Well, hey, man. I mean, look, they do say steal like an artist a lot, right? Like they say steal like an artist in a lot of like other non-art fields, right?
Yeah.
But drumming, like, of course, dude, there's only so many sticking patterns. There's only so many ways you can do it. The creativity comes in how you apply these things and also where you apply these things, right? And to your point, like you can just steal a play straight out of like, I steal Balatro builds all the time. I'll be watching people and I'll be like, ooh, that's a good card synergy. I'm going to steal that. Right. And then
that's actually a great example, right? When you're watching other people play this game, that's the same as doing practice. You're learning how to play the game better. You're learning new things.
As long as you're like analyzing it, like with some critical thought, then absolutely, I agree. Because it's like the NFL, like they watch films of the other teams, and that's practice. Like I'm sure that's their like rest day, watching films.
I know on my days off, I only watch videos of Kevin.
That's fair, as everyone should. Well, fellas, speaking of watching videos of Kevin, would you guys be cool if we moved to the Patreon question of the week?
No!
No? Well, this week's Patreon question of the week, which you, dear viewer, can contribute to, assuming that you join our Patreon at crub.org/ that is wrong. Patreon.com/Crub.
I was like, wait, something doesn't sound right.
Patreon.com/Crub. You can go in there, write as many questions as you want,
Just go to crub.crub.crub.
Yeah, pay for just
/crub.
get 1 month. Write as many questions as
Chris,
you want.
if you're
drop
listening,
out.
I need you to buy the domain crub.crub. Thank you.
Yeah, Chris.
Crub.crub/crub.
Crub.crub/crub. Oh man, yeah, that's great.
If it's too much, I can help get a fundraiser going.
Yeah, we should do a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
we should do a charity event.
but it can't fail. We're not doing
For us.
We're not doing a failed GoFundMe. We're doing a successful GoFundMe. The question of the week comes from Chef Kilo. Let me make sure that's right.
My dear friend Kilostomy Bag.
Yeah, comes from Chef Kilo, and it is: do you shower in the morning or at night?
Oh, all right. Cop out answer. Honestly, I'm going first. I don't like you guys. Cop out answer. I do both. I shower to wake up.
That's not a cop out
I shower
answer.
before bed.
That's not a cop out answer. I don't even think that's unusual.
Look, I get it. I'm a YouTuber. I play Smash Brothers, but I take my showers, and I love my showers.
It's true.
I love going in there. Sometimes I don't even like I'll wash my hair in the morning, and then I'll still be mostly clean. I'll still soap up and everything, but sometimes I'll just sit under the hot water, and I'll be like, my pores are so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I like going to bed clean too.
I used to have acne. I used to sweat, and that's for unrelated reasons, but I like to shower.
Yeah, understood. I am definitely a morning showerer. As much as I have showered at night in the past, depending, if I have to wake up really early, I'll shower at night. But otherwise, I'm a morning shower. I just like to go into the day clean. When I first meet people in the day, I'm like, I need to be fresh and clean. So fresh, so clean.
I think especially if you have a job that you need to commute to.
Yeah, which I do.
That makes sense.
So fresh and so clean.
Yes, sir.
So fresh and so clean makes Nicco an angry boy.
I am a night shower. I don't like the concept of getting into your bed covered in disgusting day filth, right? I don't like the idea of I'm going to just roll around for the next several hours in a filth, right? From other people and cars and
some people are into that, man.
Random animals that you interact with throughout the day that are now just in your bed with you forever until you change your sheets. So no, I'm definitely a night. I clean off the day, get into my nice clean sheets, and am still clean in the morning. Therefore, feel no strong need to get wet.
That's fair. I
Need to get wet. Yeah, that's what we should put for the YouTube thumbnail. It has someone's face and that text next
strong need to get wet.
I sweat overnight, so I'm like, I don't want to wake up in sweat. So I'm like, I wake up in the sweat and then I wash the sweat off. I try to avoid the sweat, obviously, but it is what it is.
Did I tell you guys that I cured my sweat problem?
No.
I did.
How?
Carefully.
Not wrong. No, it turned out. Sorry. All right. Getting into a personal topic when I meant for this to just be a funny one-off.
We can do this in the post show, Trav. I can sign us off right now.
All right. If you're watching us, figure out how I cured my sweating problem by following twitch.tv/Crub_official. Hear more about my sweat glands.
Yes, absolutely. Check us out there.
Exclusive to the post show.
Folks, if you made it this far, God bless you, and thank you for listening. We are sorry if you made it this far. Folks, we'll see you in the next one, folks.
I'm
not sorry.
This.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll see you in the next one, folks. I hope you had a good time. Peace out.